Good boss YouTube. Hopefully you guys are having a good day today. Now, before getting into talking about the team preview, yes, this is a PO battle. Now, for those of you who don't watch PO battles, you don't have to watch this video. Really, it's fine by me. But this was a close, straightforward Yu-Gi battle that I found a couple days ago when I was bored in a Skype call and decided to get some PO battles. Now, I know I said I don't really try hard in PO or really bother, but I was like, why not? Just something a little different for me to do. But yeah, as you can see from the team preview, my opponent has a fairly offensive team. And then he's got the Empoleon Hitmontop Wallcore, which could be a little annoying to deal with. Zapdos, depending on if he's offensive or sub-roost toxic, will decide on how I can deal with it. Bisharp are normally sub-SD, so hopefully I can deal with that with my Hitmontop, because if I allow him to get up to +2, then I could basically be swept. So right now, Bisharp is one of the biggest threats on his team, as well as Chandelure, if he's Choice Specs, could literally almost 2 KO my entire team if I lose my Snorlax. So hopefully I can work around those two heavy hitters and then the rest of my opponent's team. But let's get right into battle and let's see how it turned out. Alright, so my opponent's going to be leading off with his Empoleon, as I will be leading off with my Gligar. And I know first turn he's not going to go straight for the Ice Beam or go straight for the Scald. So I'm going to go for my Stealth Rocks as he goes for his own rocks in the following turn. Normally I don't see Empoleon carry Ice Beam, so I'm pretty positive he's not going to have it, which is why I decided to stay in and go straight for the Earthquake. Unfortunately, he does turn out to have it. Luckily for me, I'm able to live, but he freezes me. But I do get really lucky the next turn Unthaw, and I'm able to 2-KO the Empoleon. So one of his potential walls is out of the way as he's going to bring in the Flygon, and because Gligar is naturally slower than Flygon, I don't know if he's going to be Choice Banded or Scarf, so I still have to keep the possibility that he could be banded in the back of my mind and play with my walls very carefully, because Gligar was possibly the best thing I had to deal with it, and I've already lost it so early on in the battle. As the U-turns down to the Hitmontop, I'm going to bring in my Togekiss, and I'm going to go straight for the Air Slash. I found that a bit odd that he stayed in, but maybe he predicted me to predict his switch into Zapdos and maybe go for like a Fire Blast or something, so he could go for a free Rapid Spin since I did lose my Stealth Rocker. But that wasn't the case, and I'm able to get rid of his Rapid Spinner, which means my rocks are here to stay. Unfortunately, his rocks are here to stay as well, because he does have the Chandelure, and I don't really feel comfortable for going for the Rapid Spin with my Hitmontop. As I bring in my Snorlax on his Zapdos, it's really the only thing that can combat this Zapdos, really, considering that I am a Curselax. But if I was the regular Rest Sleep Talk variant, then it would have benefited me more in this battle. As I go for the Body Slam, unfortunately I pull a crit, but it turns out that he's just going to decide to leave in his Zapdos for Death Fodder, and I predicted him to go for the Roost, so that's why I did go for the Earthquake, and what I should have done there was just gone for the Body Slam, which means I wouldn't have to take this unnecessary hit from the Zapdos. But hey, Zapdos is out of the way, so that's one less thing I have to deal with. Unfortunately, this does mean I'm just going to have to leave in my Snorlax for Death Fodder as he brings in the Flygon, and he's not going to go for the U-turn, but he turns out to go for the Outrage when, if I was him, I would have gone for the Earthquake, because really I have nothing that could take Earthquakes. But I'm thinking that maybe he is actually Choice Banded, so he can do a good damage to my team. As I'm going to bring in my second physical wall in the form of Hitmontop, I managed to get the Intimidate off, and that Outrage still does a pretty good chunk of damage. Unfortunately, I don't really know the damage output of Choice Banded Outrage as opposed to Scarfed Outrage, but I'm thinking that maybe he is just going to be Scarfed, so I decided to go for the Close Combat just to get some damage off on him. As the following turn, I am going to go for the Sucker Punch, knowing that it's not going to kill, but still maybe be able to 2-KO him if I am able to take another Outrage. Unfortunately, I guess he predicted that, and he turned out to switch into his Chandelure, and the following turn I'm going to switch into my Umbreon, because I'm pretty positive he's just going to go for the Fire Blast or the Overheat, which my Umbreon might be able to take depending on the min-max damage of it and if I go for Protect or not. But he makes a very good double switch out into Flygon, predicting me to bring in my Umbreon. Now, because I'm almost at full HP, I know an Outrage shouldn't be able to take me out, and he's going to be fearing that, so he's actually going to pull a switch, or not, sorry, he's going to U-turn out into his Bisharp as I go for the Wish. And as I said, Bisharp is easily one of the biggest threats on his team, so I'm going to switch out into my Hitmontop, thinking that he would either just go for the Substitute or maybe go for the Brick Break, and it turns out that he does go for the Sub, because really my Umbreon can't do anything to Bisharp, and he can easily just Swords Dance up on me. So if I didn't switch out into my Hitmontop in that situation, I could have possibly been swept, as even at -1, that Brick Break still does about 36%, which is just, wow, Bisharp, why are you so strong? Or maybe I didn't put any EVs on my Hitmontop, because knowing myself, I probably did something wrong. But still, this Bisharp is a big threat, as I'm able to break this up the following turn, take one more Brick Break, and finish him off with the Close Combat, which means the only threat that he has left is going to be that Chandelure, which could still potentially 2-KO my entire team. But then again, if he is choice specs, I do have my Raikou to outspeed it, so I'm really not too worried about it, but still, that thing hits like a truck. And he's going to switch in the Flygon as I'm going to fodder off my Togekiss. Sorry, I like stopped or stuttered there for a bit, because I want to see what he wants to lock himself into, and he locks himself into the Outrage as I'm going to bring in my Hitmontop. And my game plan right now is to get the -1 with the Intimidate, go for Sucker Punch, knowing that it might not KO, I could still get some good damage off on it, and he lives with literally 1% HP. I'm pretty sure if I had put those 4 extra EVs into my attack, I would have finished him off, so I guess that's an instance where it matters. But he turns out to go for the Outrage, and after -1, I can easily take that, which means I can go for the Wish, the following turn be able to go for the Protect, and then go for another Wish, and then turn after that just finish him off with the Foul Play. But he ends up switching out into the Chandelure, predicting me to go for the Protect, but this does mean that the Flygon is now basically dead. And even if this Chandelure was choice specs at the amount of HP that I'm at right now without a crit, he would not be able to KO me, and it turns out that he is specs, because this Overheat does entirely way too much, and I'm able to finish him off with a Foul Play, and as I said, Flygon would die off to the Stealth Rocks, so that's going to be the very narrow 2-0 victory in my favor. For those of you who did watch this, I hope you do enjoy it, and if you did, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to see more content, guys, and with this, I do believe I am out of here. Later.